can get me considerably more result. So, but how do I do it? I can do it using the first step is Pareto. With some, it can be a combination of opinions or the experts' view and stakeholders' view. I take everything and try to assign certain weightage number and then visualize it with the Pareto. And then I realize that few factors among the many are most important to the problem. So I will further drive the investigation after plotting a Pareto, right? So what I do is, if there are no specific questions about what has been discussed, because these are very light modules, like your brainstorming, YY analysis, cause and effect analysis, impact control matrix, and Pareto. All of them you can make use, or you can make use of the combination of all these things. You can do a brainstorming, you can do YY analysis in that, and then you can have the fishbone diagram also created. And then you can take expert's opinion and you can take a plot of Pareto. And then further, what is further required is we need to really validate whether the sayings, all the opinions, are really correct or not. So for that, there is hypothesis testing. But with the remaining time of 15 to 20 minutes, I would like to spend with you using Minitab. And then we can take up the hypothesis testing fresh in the morning. So shall I do that? Go to Minitab or any specific questions? Shall we go to Minitab?
Sir, before that, can I give them an example for Pareto chart? One example, simple example.
Yeah, sir. 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah. No. Don't. 1 second, sir. Let us be there. Okay. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You can see the screen monitor. Now, is there a Pareto principle you see there? Can anyone tell me? Do you see a Pareto principle there on the screen?
Okay, sir.
What is that? Only 20% of them are attending. That's all. That's what I would say. 5 out of 20 are showing their video. So 20 out of 20 is 5. 5 people on the screen contributing, right? That is Pareto principle, God's gift. That's all. Thank you very much. Gopal Shukumar, you can go ahead.
Good. So 80% of the space in your warehouse might get occupied by just 20% of the products, right?
They will learn. See, the 80% of the people will learn by you 20 people. That's what I want to say. I'm not trying to discourage others. I'm saying that you 20% of the people will contribute to the knowledge gain of the rest of the 80%.
Right. Fine. So I have the Minitab again, once again opened. See, the setup files are given. Please double click, open it. No need to give any product key. The Minitab will work, in your system. If it's a trial version, it will work for 30 days. Right? So now I have certain data, column 1, column 2, column 3. This is called the gray bar, where you can keep the title, and then here is the real data. You can type or you can copy paste from any source. See here, I have typed data, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, some 9 numbers are there. Let me make it 10 numbers, right? So I have 10 numbers. These 10 numbers are collected from my process. Maybe my Y variable, I want to understand my Y. So what I can do is I can do some basic calculation, because we need average, standard deviation, and there are basic steps we learned in the schooling itself. But Minitab can now work for us. Go to stat, like our Vinod sir was telling, most of the time we'll be spending time in stat and graph. So go to stat, go to basic stat, display descriptive statistics. Stat, basic stat, display descriptive statistics. Click that. And now Minitab is asking you for which data you want the descriptive statistics. I want it for column number 6. It can be 10 data, it can be 100 data, it can be 1 lakh data. It is same for Minitab. So you select that. And then you can choose the statistics which you want Minitab to calculate for you. So click statistics. Do you see a lot of statistics coming here?
Yeah.
Either you can select all or you can select none. When can you select all? When you know everything. When can you select none? If you don't want to use any of these things, then you can choose none, right? So whatever is required, whatever you can understand, you select. For example, mean. How many of you know mean, average? All of you know, right? So can I select that? Very good, I select that. And then I have standard error of mean. Do you want to use it?
No, sir.
No.
Don't want to use it. But note it down separately. You can ask me, I will explain how to use it, right? Standard error of mean. And then standard deviation. Yes. Yes. Then variance. What is variance? Do you know variance?
No, sir.
Square of standard deviation.
Square of standard deviation. That means having one means you have the other also. You square standard deviation, you get the variance. Variation. Sorry, variance. And then there is something called the coefficient of variation, which Dr. R.K. will explain you. I think already explained it in Tuesday class. And trimmed mean. What is trimmed mean? Trimmed means I cut down a smaller portion of the value. The result is trimmed one, right? Like the tailoring work, you can also do some trimming. Trimmed mean. Sum means all of you know, right? You just add all the value. Sum. Minimum.
Yeah.
Minimum means the
Minimum
lowest value. Maximum, the maximum value. Range means the difference between the maximum and the minimum. Right. And then what else? Okay. And there are many things. If you see, the more you dive into statistics, the more you understand about your process, right? So right now I just clicked all these things. I give OK. Again, I give OK. And Minitab has done the job for me. You see here, variable is data. What is the mean value?
8.344.
Very good. The average 8.344. And the standard deviation is 0.738. Variance is 0.545. Sum is 75. Minimum is 7. Maximum is 9.2. Range is 2.2. All these you are able to understand. Right? If you learn more, you can understand more. So go to stat, go to basic statistics, go to stat, go to basic statistics, display descriptive statistics, and select the data. It's already there. Go to statistics. This time, let us select all. Everything will come. Clear? So in no time, results are coming. Like working with Minitab is having an assistant working for you. You just have to focus on decision. You don't have to worry about how to calculate all the calculations, all the confusions you have undergone. That's okay. But in a project mode, you really don't have to do all the painful process. All the pain will be taken care by Minitab or any other equivalent software. It can be Excel, it can be SPSS, or anything, right? And good. So only thing is we should be able to read it out, and that is why very often we teach about many statistics. That is one thing. And now let us go to another topic called how to do gauge R&R. I have collected the data, but how much is the error in my data? How much is the error in my data? Error can be due to accuracy. Error can be due to precision, right? So I type precision also. There can be accuracy error, there can be precision error. An accuracy error we measure in terms of three things, right? Bias, linearity, and stability. And on the other side, precision, I have
Repeatability and reproducibility.
repeatability and reproducibility. And for bias, linearity, stability, the solution is calibration, right? Calibration, choice of the gauge, isn't it? Maintenance of the gauge, all of them will definitely get you more accurate reading. This is how you can manage. But for precision, you have to do you have to understand more which is actually going wrong. whether no, the repeatability is more or reproducibility is more. So I have some data. This is the data collection plan. What you see here, column 1, column 2, column 3, this is the data collection plan. Column 1 contains part number. And now tell me, looking at column number 1, how many parts are selected? 10 parts. So my recommendation is select minimum 10 parts. Select minimum 10 parts. What could be the maximum size of your part? USL. Minimum size of your part?
LSL.
In case you know you produce more than USL also, then consider that part. See, the maximum size of the product is nothing but the worst output your process can produce, right? The worst output on the right side, the worst on the right side, and the worst on the left side should be there in your study. You all understand how to select the data or how to select the parts? 10 parts you need to select. It can be USL, LSL, because USL is the worst. Beyond USL, I really don't want to produce. But if you enjoy producing beyond USL, then the definition for you is the worst on the right side. Similarly, the worst on the left side. Then in between the worst on the right and worst on the left, you must select minimum 8. You must select minimum 8. So totally how many parts? 10 parts. And the more is better. If you go more than 10, then your study will be very detailed study. So now you got an idea about how many parts should be selected for conducting the MSA. Can somebody tell me what is our goal now? Why are we doing MSA? Come on, please. We have already finished the topic. Why are we doing MSA?
To find out measurement variation.
We want to validate our measurement system. See, we are conducting the training program. All of you are writing the exam. We evaluate your paper badly. Will you feel good about our evaluation when we evaluate badly? For example, those who wrote very well, we are failing. Those who wrote very badly, we are giving high marks and passing. Will you like our assessment? No. Isn't it? So measurement system should be corrected. Measurement system should be validated. So if such a measurement system is used for data collection, will it carry error? If it carries error, how much error it might carry? For example, you are writing 80%. Pass mark is 60%, but you have written it for 80%. Let us say we maintain an error rate of 5%. So 80 means it can be 80 plus or minus 5. The result is not affected because you have written for 80 and our error rate is plus or minus 5. If we keep more error rate, what will happen? Even if you actually write for a pass mark, we can still fail you. So that should not happen. So we really want to understand whether our measurement system is capable of measuring correctly or not. And the permissible error is 10%. So how much is the error, particularly the precision related error? So for that, number of parts selected is 10 and operator. Operators are nothing but the individuals who actually collect the data. Now there is an operator named A, there is an operator named B, there is an operator named C. So how many operators are involved here?
3
operators. 3 operators are going to measure 10 parts. The first part is measured 3 times by operator A. First part is measured 3 times by operator A. Same way, second part 3 times by A. Similarly, A will do, B will do, C will do. Can somebody tell me what could be the total number of readings I will have in my hand? 10 parts, 3 operators, and 3 readings for each part.
90.
Very good, beautiful. 90 readings. That is what you are seeing in column number 3. 90 readings, sir. With the 90 readings, I just wanted to calculate the gauge R. We discussed so much in the morning, but now our job is few clicks and we will get all the result, right? Go to stat, go to quality tools, go to gauge study, go to gauge R study crossed. Why do I choose crossed? Because whatever part operator A measured, same part operator B also measures. Same part operator C also measures. This is called a crossed steady, gauge R&R steady crossed. You select that. Now Minitab is asking you where is the part number. Where is the part number information available? Column number 1. So I select column number 1. Where is the operator information available? Column number 2. I select column number 2. Where is the data available? Column number 3. I select. There are 2 methods by which you can conduct the analysis. ANOVA, we have to teach you. X bar R method, we have to teach you. So it is not going to make any difference now. I choose the simple one. The simple one is X bar R method, will be teaching you. And then gauge information, anything you want to give, you can say. So gauge name, you can type gauge, whatever name your gauge has got, you can give. And steady date, maybe today's date I put in December 2021 and reported by, I'll put some name, and then gauge tolerance. You are saying the equipment tolerance, something it might have. So I'm just writing it, and then I give, okay, all these things will appear in your report. Now, those things have given. See here, 6 is used. You know why 6? 6 means, 3 sigma on the right side, 3 sigma on the left side. So the error is calculated, considering the 99.73% of the population. That is why 6 is here. And if no upper spec and lower spec, you can give it here. If you don't give, Minitab will consider the steady variation as the specification limit, right? So I'm not going to give it. Let the Minitab decide on it. I give OK. Again, I give OK. Now, all the work has been done for you by Minitab. This graph is generated. This graph you can make use to understand what has happened in the data collection process. The same graph you can understand to understand what went wrong, and then you can take some action, right? Anyway, this we will come to that later. Now, this portion, I think Vinod sir has already told you, this portion is called session window. This portion is called session window. Session window will carry the report. See here, gauge R&R steady, X bar R method, gauge name, whatever you type, it is appearing here. And there will be first one table. This table is based on variance. There is one more table. This table is based on standard deviation. We have taught you based on standard deviation only. We have taught you based on standard deviation. So this we are going to refer now based on standard deviation. And now, gauge R&R, this is what is very important for me. How much is the gauge R&R? See here, gauge R&R percentage of steady variation. How much it is? How much it is? Do you see the value?
26.68.
26.68.
So the precision error or the gauge R&R is 26.68% of the steady variation. That means, is that measurement system is good or conditionally acceptable, or how is it?
Conditionally acceptable.
Conditionally acceptable. 10 to 30% is, then less than 10 is acceptable. 10 to 30 is conditionally acceptable. It is falling under 10 to 30 category. But if it is more than 30%, I will probably scrap the data. I will try to improve my measurement system, and probably I will, if required, I will go for a new measurement system, and then I will recollect the data. Now, after knowing that 26.68% is the gauge R&R, repeatability is given as 17.61. Reproducibility is given as 20.04. So which is playing more, repeatability or reproducibility?
Reproducibility.
Reproducibility is playing more. You need to control its play. If you control the play of reproducibility, gauge R&R can come down. And repeatability is also equally playing, almost close to 20. So you need to control both to get your gauge R&R value coming down. And then see this column, this particular second column here, right? Second column carries the value of standard deviation. It is this standard deviation, see here, 0.20186. This is what I have taught you in the morning, sigma repeatability. Hope you remember what has been learned in the morning. Sigma repeatability. With the data, Minitab has calculated the sigma repeatability is multiplied by 6. Sigma repeatability is multiplied by 6, and that is what you are seeing here. That is what you are seeing here. And similarly, reproducibility sigma is calculated here. That is multiplied by 6. That is you are seeing here. And this is the standard deviation of the parts. This is the standard deviation of the parts. This is the standard deviation of the gauge. Standard deviation of the parts divided by standard deviation of the gauge multiplied by 1.41 will give you NDC. We learned NDC also today morning, right? Number of distinct data categories or discrimination index. What is the guideline for NDC? It should be
More than 5.
yeah, minimum 5 or more than 5. The more is, if it is less than 5, what will you do? If it is less than 5, what will you do? Because less than 5, you are not supposed to use the data. Then what will you do? You must increase.
Resolution.
Resolution.
Go for an equipment with a better resolution, right? Instead of saying increase. For an equipment with a better resolution, and then your NDC will improve, right? And since you have not given the specification limit, Minitab has calculated the gauge R&R with respect to the steady variation. With respect to the steady variation. Steady variation is the variation in your data. So the range in your data is considered as the steady variation. So with respect to the range in the data, the gauge R&R is calculated. But in case, if you give the specification limits, USL and LSL, then Minitab will add one more column, and then that will give you the gauge R&R with respect to the customer tolerance. So denominator can be customer tolerance. If you don't give customer tolerance, the denominator will be steady variation, right? So now let us look at the, what do you call, the graph. Where is the graph? Yeah, you can go here. Yes, this is the graph. Now, how many graphs are here?
6.
6 graphs. What is the first graph? Do you know the name of the graph? This is a bar chart. This is a bar chart. It visually, tells you the, what do you call, the gauge R&R value, repeatability value, reproducibility value, part-to-part variation. All of them are variation. The red color is based on the standard deviation. And we need to look at the red color only. We need to look at the red color only, not the blue color. The blue color is based on the variance. But we have discussed so far only based on standard deviation. So let us look at only red color. Now, what do you understand? Gauge R&R is small compared to the part-to-part variation. Am I right? Gauge R&R is smaller compared to the part-to-part variation. Suppose if it is reversed, you see the gauge R&R taller than part-to-part variation. Is it a good idea to proceed with the project?
No.
No, the error itself is more than the problem you want to solve. So the problem in your company is not defects. Problem in your company is measurement. People don't know how to measure. They reject good product as bad, and they accept bad product as good. This is the big problem in your company. No, nothing to do with the process. You get my statement? You get my point? So if you see gauge R&R more than the part-to-part variation, the problem is not that big. Problem is with the measurement system. You correct the measurement system, your project will get completed in the second phase itself. What is second phase? Measure phase. There is no need to proceed and generate the improvement. Improvement will come right at the end of the measure phase. Right. That's the meaning. But that's a rare case. Mostly gauge R&R will be smaller. And now this gauge R&R value is divided into repeatability and reproducibility. The height of the bar gives an indication which one you should focus to gain more improvement. It is reproducibility. And then you must focus repeatability also because it is more or less same. All of you got it? How to read the first graph? Yes? Yes or no?
Yeah, yes.
Right. So similarly, if you know how to read each and every graph, you will be able to even correct your measurement system. You can make the same measurement system, produce readings with less than 10% gauge R&R. For that, you should know how to read the graph, and then you must take remedial action. The second graph is a control chart. Am I correct?
Yes,
The
sir.
second graph is a control chart.
Hmm.
You might be using plotting some
Yes.
control chart in your company. It is R chart. It is R chart. R means range. R means range. Now there are three. There are three control chart. One for operator A, one for operator B, one for operator C. You are seeing all of them in a single graph. Am I right? A control chart for operator A, control chart for operator B, control chart for operator C. And now let us take operator A. He measured all 10 parts. Every part he measured how many times? Every
10
three
times.
So for every part, there are 3 readings. Can you calculate a range using the 3 readings? Possible? Yes or no? Every part you have 3 reading. Can you identify the maximum within the 3 and minimum within the 3 and find out the difference? That is called what? Range. That range is plotted here. If the range is too high, what does it mean? If the range is too high, what does it mean? He is committing more repeatability error. If the range is very less, what does it mean? He is repeatable.
Accuracy.
Am I correct or not?
Accuracy is there.
No, you need to use the words very wisely. Accuracy comes into picture when you know the true value. Compare the observed value with the true value. Then you say accurate or not. Now I don't know anything about true value. I only have the right data. Whether my readings are consistent or not, that is what I am studying. So you should not say accuracy, you must use only precision.
Precise. Yeah.
If the readings are precise, range will be minimum. All right. So having a higher range means there is some repeatability issue with respect to operator A, with respect to part number 1. Do you get some insight about what is going wrong by reading the graph? Am I correct or not? Tell me who is contributing to the repeatability error out of the 3, A, B, and C? Who is contributing more to the repeatability error? Is it A or B or C?
I think
Come
it's
on.
B.
B.
It is B. You can see the
Yeah.
range of operator B even falling even outside the control limit. We are going to discuss about the control chart tomorrow. I'll give you one session on control chart. So the operator B readings are out of control. The range itself is out of control. There is too much range. That means for the same part, he gives a minimum reading also. He is the one who is giving the maximum reading also. So the repeatability is mainly caused mainly by operator B. Can you train him? Clear? You need to train him, make him collect the data as per the procedure given. His reading should align with others. First of all, he should align within himself. So that's how the R chart is helping you. R chart is helping you to control the repeatability error operator wise as well as operator wise. Right. And now who is more repeatable here? Looking at the graph, can somebody tell me A or B or C?
A.
A.
A is
No.
more repeatable.
Yeah. A is more repeatable. Yeah.
Okay. And the next, maybe if you want to order, A is better and then B and then C. That is your suggestion. But as a statistician, you should be very good in dealing with the data and reading the graph also. See here, but I see a problem with the A. Can somebody comment what kind of problem that is visible to me with respect to operator A?
Is more aligned towards lower control limit.
Okay, all of these points are more aligned towards lower control limit. Very good. Yes, that is the thing. So his readings are not going up and down. It is always down. That he seems to be biased,
Okay.
right? So though all the points are inside the control limit, you should be able to see randomness in the data. You know what is randomness? You should not be able to make any comment. If you can make a comment about the data, that means it is non-random. If it is non-random, that means there is a special cause. All right. Moreover, if there is no randomness, like it's almost points are not going like a straight line. Do you observe a kind of straight line here, a horizontal line? Or no?
Yes, yes.
Sometimes when you go to hospitals, particularly when you see the ICU ward, on the side of every patient, there will be some kind of graph going on. Am I right? ECG kind of graph.
Yeah.
The graph will be going up and down. The graphs are going up and down. What does it mean?
He's alive.
Okay. Suppose if the graph is perfect straight line, horizontal, flat, what does it mean?
He's dead.
So the such kind of thing we are seeing in operator A. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that is why I said there could be a problem with A. You must check him. What is he doing? Probably he might think that he is and somebody is studying him, so he wanted to be more safer, and then he is manipulating something. What we want is we as a Six Sigma expert, we are not against anybody. We only want to understand what is actually happening in the process. Am I correct? So don't allow any room for either repeatability or reproducibility or bias to dominate in our. So this is how carefully you can read and then gradually control everything. And then your data will start giving true signals. Your decisions can happen in a better manner. Similarly, coming to the X bar chart, this is another control chart. What is this control chart? X bar chart. X bar means what?
Mean.
Average. Every operator, every part he measured 3 times, and average of the reading is plotted here. In this, with respect to the X bar chart, we want at least 50% of the points to fall outside the control limit. If that is not happening, your measurement system is considered to be, the measurement system is not able to discriminate between good and bad. See, you remember, I told you, you select the 10 parts covering the entire spectrum of products. How did you select the product? You selected 10 parts covering the entire spectrum. What is there on the right? The worst product on the right side is included. The worst product on the left side, that is also included. Am I correct or not?
Yeah.
The worst should be classified as the worst. Am I right? Suppose some of you don't write the exam well. What are we supposed to do? We are supposed to fail you. Am I correct? If somebody writes the exam correctly, what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to qualify you. Then only measurement system is valid. Am I correct or not? So when you select the parts, you should know how many good parts and how many bad parts are mixed up. Generally, people mix equally, right? The acceptable parts, or I would say, the parts closer to the mean, 50%, and then 50% will be away from the mean. And so 50% of the points should fall outside the control limit. If that is not happening, your measurement system is inadequate. It is not able to discriminate between good and bad. So what is required here? Minimum 50% of the points should fall outside the control limit. Now this is another graph. You can call it the dot plot. You can call it a dot plot. You see dots here. This is a plot part wise. Part number 1 measured by 3 operators. Each operator measured 3 times. So how many dots are here? Can somebody tell me?
3.
No, part number 1 measured 3 times by operator A, measured 3 times by operator B, measured 3 times by
9.
operator C. 9 parts.
9.
9 readings. But all of them came from single part only. In the best case, these parts should look like a pile of coins. Am I right? I arrange 9 coins one over the other. It should be like that only. But your system measured the same readings, and then you can see, the what do you call, the spread in the data. And now, in my opinion, part number 2 is measured badly. Am I correct? Part number 2 is measured badly because the spread is too much. Can you see the spread here? Part number 2.
Yes.
Similarly, part number 10 also measured badly. You can do some investigation on part number 2 and 10, or maybe you can train your people on how to measure part number 2, part number 10, part number 5, and part number 9. In my opinion, almost everywhere.
No, four also. Sir. What number 4?
Yes, 4 also there is a problem. Yes. So they need to be taught, because every probably 3 somewhat better and 1 also somewhat better, and all other areas they were struggling. So this is how this graph is helping you. And then here measurement by part. Here the graph what you are seeing is called box plot. What is this graph called? Box plot. And now with respect to the box plot, operator wise box plots are drawn. Operator A. Can one of you tell me how many readings operator A produced?
30.
30. Very good. 30 readings from operator A, 30 readings from operator B, 30 readings from operator C. But all of them measured the same product. Ideally, all the 3 box plots should be identical, should be at the same height. The center line you are seeing here, that is called median. The line is called what? Median. And this circle is called the average. Circle is called what? Average. What is expected is the median or the line, what is expected is the average. The average of operator A, average of operator B, average of operator C should be on the horizontal line. Should lie on a perfect horizontal line. If that is not happening, what can you understand here? What can you understand is average of A and B are almost at the same level. Am I correct?
Yeah.
But average of C is well below A and B. That means C is doing something quite different from A and B. Can I say like that?
Yes, yes.
C is doing something quite different from what others are doing. And so C deserves some additional training. Am I correct? If you train C little more on the procedure, his average can go up, and then you will get all the 3 averages perfectly on the line. So by doing so, the reproducibility error can go down. Am I correct? By doing so, reproducibility error can further go down. And so the more you understand about the statistics, the more realistic your decisions will be. You need to learn about median, you need to learn about quartile, and then you can handle this graph much more well. And then the last graph is called interaction graph or interaction plot. What is interaction? It is nothing but, you see the X bar chart here, right? First, operator A has got an X bar chart, operator B has got an X bar chart, operator C has got an X bar chart. Can you overlap all the 3 graphs? That is the interaction graph. Am I right? You see here, there is a pattern going down, going up, staying there, coming down, going up, again going up, coming down, going up, coming down. Some pattern. What are these points? These points are averages. Same pattern you can see followed by B and C also. Am I correct? Almost the same pattern. Am I correct or not? If A is coming down, B is also coming down. C is also coming down. Am I right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
If it is the same pattern, when I overlap them, you will see all the lines exactly parallel to each other. If the pattern is same. If I am going down, you are going up. What does it mean? Are we working on the same project? Are we doing the same work?
No.
Certainly no. Right? When I go down, you should also go down. Maybe the amount I go and amount you go down may slightly differ, depending on there could be some source. But when I am going down and you are going up, that's a major problem. So that is what we are trying to understand here. What is expected is the lines, the green color line is for operator C, red color line is for operator B, and the blue color line is for operator A. At the maximum, A, B, and C can be parallel. But ideally, all of them should overlap. If it is not overlapping, it should be parallel. But it is not overlapping, not parallel, crossing each other. Please understand there is a big problem. It should not cross. Crossing means when my pattern is going down, your pattern is going up. And we cannot work as a team, and we cannot produce, we cannot take care of the reproducibility. So these interactions will also kill your reproducibility. And now when B and C are interacting, you need to figure out whether B is doing injustice or C is doing injustice. This is how you can go deeper and make your measurement system correct, collect the data correctly. Thereby, the gauge R&R can be brought well below 10%. If you are not able to bring the gauge R&R below 10%, better you ask your management to change the measurement system. Right? And less than 10% is the ideal condition. 10 to 30 is conditionally acceptable. Can somebody tell me when will you consider using the second option, 10 to 30%? Only if you are sure that your control limits are well inside the specification limit. If you don't know where is your control limit and where is your specification limit, then blindly you aim for less than 10%. If you know your control limits are well inside specification limit, and 30% becomes tolerable, otherwise not. This is how you can conduct the gauge R&R study using Minitab. Minitab can simplify your task like anything. But you have to learn thoroughly so that you can utilize the capabilities of Minitab. You can make the Minitab do all the laborious calculation work for you, and your job is only to read the graphs, read the analysis report, and then take correct decisions. Clear? And those of you who are seriously interested, we can help you to any extent. And some of you might think, we discussed many things, and then how you can implement everything in the learning. Yes, it will be possible, but you should also put some effort from your side. Go through the videos, go through the material, and we have been giving you some kind of task, like already preparatory questions define is given. I do not know how many of you have gone through. Please do start doing all those things. Everything will make a big difference. And then once you complete the course, complete the exam well, and get the certificate, we will be eager to guide you on your project also. We will be eager to guide you on your project also. And the informations will be shared with those who are seriously interested in learning and then implementing. Right? If you are here just for the certificate and the approach, we leave it to you. But if you are here for